So moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about this NBA tourney thing real quick, right? So let's go back. This is pretty much the explanation of it, and I think this does a very good job of explaining what it is. So let's listen to Richard Jefferson talk.
All right, everybody, the NBA first ever in-season tournament is now official. But how does it work? Like this. First up is group play. All 30 teams will be split into 6 groups, 3 from the East, 3 from the West, with a random draw based on last year's regular season records. Each team in a group plays each other one time, a total of 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
Now, those games happen Tuesdays and Fridays in November, so set your calendar. Basically, these regular season NBA games also count as tournament games. Now, in each group, the team with the best group play record after those 4 games, they're moving on. The team with the next best record in each conference, those 2 are the wild cards. Always watch out for the wild cards. Now, we get to the knockout round. 8 teams, single elimination. And you know what that means. Win and move on, or lose, and you're out. And the last 4 teams standing, guess what? You're headed to Vegas, baby. That's right. In Las Vegas, the semifinal battles will get us to the championship game on December 9th. 2 teams in a winner-take-all final to be named champion and be awarded the first ever NBA Cup. Come on now. Look, there's a lot to look forward to this season. Players on new teams, rookies new to the league, and teams just looking to make some noise. And the NBA in-season tournament is going to be a can't-miss, must-see, high-stakes, high-level competition. And if you're a hoops head just like me, I promise you, you're going to love it.
Okay, so you heard this, right? So, okay, what's your thoughts on this? Because we did talk about it, and we were both negative about it because, frankly, we didn't understand what they were doing and why they were doing it, right? Now, what you saw the video, what's your thoughts on it?
Garbage. I think this whole thing is garbage. I think this whole stupid cup thing is garbage. Just play the regular season. Play the regular season. Having a stupid championship cup at the end of the day is not going to mean anything, because when at the end of the day, whoever wins the championship, that's what people are going to talk about. At the end of the day, that's what people are going to care about. The one's not going to talk about, oh, who won this stupid makeup cup crap that they're trying to implement, that they're implementing into this into the NBA now. What people are going to talk about is the NBA championship, how you perform in the playoffs. That's what people are going to talk about. Don't waste my time on this stupid cup that's not going to mean anything as the season wanes. It doesn't mean anything to me. And it's a waste of time. And what I also think is going to happen is that I don't need, and knowing that it's going to be a waste of time to some of these players, I honestly believe that they're not going to play their best anyway. We're not going to get, their best basketball in this cup, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to win a championship. That's what they care about. That's what they care about. Now, if this was like some type of tournament, like some type of league where they're also facing like Canada or South America, or something like that, fine. But if this is just another added meaningless game in the season, I'm not feeling it, and I don't think I'm going to invest my time watching some stupid cup that won't mean anything at the end of the day, because it's just going to get obscured and overshadowed when whoever wins the championship anyway.
Okay, I disagree with you. I actually like the idea. The way that they explained it, it does make more sense. Now let me explain why I think this is actually a good idea. I think this is a good idea because it puts more importance into the earlier games in the season. It puts more emphasis on the earlier games in the season. The only thing there's 2 things that I'm confused by, right? Because these games will count as regular season games. Every game we will count as regular season games, at least from the group stage, right? And I like the fact that they have specific days where it's happening, where they'll do it on Tuesday and Friday. So when it comes to Tuesday, okay, those are tournament games. They'll count for regular season, but they're tournament games, right? Tuesday and Friday. At least you know that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'm confused by is when the actual knockout tournament starts. Does that count for your regular season? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do that count for your regular season? That's what I'm trying to understand. But here, the other thing that I find interesting is the prize of all of it. I think the prize is what, 50, I don't know, 500,000, 500K. I don't think that's enough. Personally, I think they need to have some actual stakes to this tournament. I'm talking either an automatic bid to the playoffs, no matter what your record is, and I'm not talking about playing tournament too. I'm talking about actual inside the playoffs. Either have that, or you give the winning team an extra chance at a lottery pick. Because you know how teams who don't make the playoffs, they're inside, they get picked in the lottery to see who's going to be the first pick, right? The team who wins the tournament should get an automatic bid inside of the lottery. So let's say, for example, Miami wins this in-season tournament, right? And let's say they go to the playoffs. Now, if you go to the playoffs, normally you're not chosen as a lottery team because obviously you made the playoffs, so you're not a lottery team. Whoever wins the in-season tournament should be a lottery team. Should get a chance at a lottery pick. Now, obviously, their chances should be the lowest if they make it in. But they should have a shot at a lottery pick. I would like them to have some actual stakes to this tournament. But with that said, I think I like the idea of where they're going with the tournament. And then you take them to Las Vegas. The final four teams, they go to Las Vegas. They play a couple games, and whoever wins the cup. I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no problem with that.
It's a waste of time.
No,
this is a complete waste of time. A complete waste of time. Again, at the end of the day, what everyone cares about and what the fans care about the most is the finals. That's what
understood. But you can't deny that the play-in tournament has not been a success. It's absolutely been a success.
The play-in tournament?
Yeah.
You think it's been a success?
Absolutely.
That's fine. But that's more involved of getting into the playoffs. Like you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice but to play hard.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think since these games do count for your regular season record, it puts more stakes into those games. Yeah, actually, I think it does. I think it does because
no, it doesn't because the record would have been because rather if they had because a win is a win and a loss is still a loss anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Your record was going to be the same even if you didn't have this stupid this stupid tournament cup, whatever this thing is called. Your record would have still remained the same regardless if you had this thing or not.
Understood. But it makes those games more it makes those games marquee games. It makes those games even more important. And for early in the season, that's important.
How many games in total is it with these games? Like how many games in total would it be?
As far as like, you mean like within group play or what?
Yeah, all
the
of
whole
it.
Tournament?
Yeah,
for the whole tournament. Okay, so each team like a minimum would be 4 games, minimum. But for teams who make it out. Remember, they're all single elimination, 8 teams each. So the maximum amount of games that a team would play would be 4, 5, 7 games.
Hmm.
7 games.
Wait,
And I
seven
think,
games?
mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah, 7 games. And I think what it also does, it also I think gives younger players an opportunity to play in these type of games. Because remember, when it comes to the playoffs, you shorten your rotation anyway. When it comes to the tournament games, maybe you give them an opportunity to play important games and see how they perform in pressure situations.
I just don't. I honestly just don't see the excitement for it. Like I really don't. And you know, I think the reason why that people don't care, players don't care about earlier on, in the season. Uh, I'm just speculating, but from what I've heard is because a lot of these players, they make so much money now that it seems like the players are really just playing for money.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get their money, like there's really no incentive because they make so much. There's really no incentive, for them to continue to improve because they have their money now.
Well, I
That's
mean,
what. But
everybody will get an extra 500K. So
that's nothing for most of these players.
that's fine. But like 500K, I guarantee they'd rather have it than not have it.
I
And
don't
I
think
think,
that's.
and I actually think it's more than what they get for making it in the playoffs. Because remember, guys don't get paid their regular salary in the playoffs. They get paid like a couple thousand.
Mhm.
So, like me personally, I don't have. The more I hear it and understand it, I'm not against it. I'm not against it.
Why are
I
you?
just
Why?
I just needed this. I just needed to know. I just needed to understand it more. Look, what you gonna ask me a question? What's up?
So how was it that you were against it before?
'Cause I didn't understand it. I didn't know. I didn't know when. I didn't know how they were going to do it. I didn't know when they were going to do it, and I didn't know how they were going to do it. Now this is going to be early season, so it pretty much this tournament is going to happen within a month. So teams will still it'll still be like a regular season, but Tuesdays and Thursdays will be the game. Tuesdays and Fridays will be the games that are the important games for them. And all this stuff happened within a month. So like when it comes to that, I like the fact that it's not I like the fact that it's not a whole season worth of cup games and stuff like that. That's why I thought it was going to be at first. But you're doing all this within a month. You have the team grouped together, which I think is smart. And like I like I don't hate it.
No, I'm not saying I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying I hate it. I just think it's just a meaningless tournament. I just think it's meaningless. I think it's a waste of time, and I don't see guys. I don't see NBA players going to play hard on this tournament just for a measly $500,000 when they're making millions already. Like I think they need to, you mentioning upping the stakes. I get that. The draft, I don't necessarily think the draft would really create an incentive, for the players because that's for more of the organization, not the
That's true.
not
That's true.
the
That's
individual
true.
players.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think an extra draft pick would would incentivize these players to play harder. I think the money, like let's say if it was like $2-3 million, you get something like that. I think that would definitely do it. Or like you said, a guarantee in the playoffs. Obviously, something like that would definitely help. Um, or let's say if they said, okay, if you win the tournament, um, you get I don't know, an extra salary bonus or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
like something like that, where the individual players will actually
Well,
incentivize them to play harder. But
well,
for the
okay.
organization, I don't think they're going to care.
Well, okay, so let me put it to you like this, right? Because this is a model that they took from soccer. And this past Saturday, Inter Miami played in the finals of a League Cup against Nashville, and they won that game. So
Hmm.
because they won that game, they get an automatic bid into this thing called the CONCACAF Cup, right? Which is like a major tournament featuring teams from featuring all the best teams from that area, from CONCACAF, the Caribbean, and North America. So that includes Canada, United States, and Mexico, and then also includes like Jamaica, Haiti, all club teams in that region,
Yeah.
right? So they get an automatic bid into that tournament, right? So and obviously the NBA they're not going to do any you know they're not going to do anything like that, but that's the incentive that they have for winning some of these league cups. Like there's some like when you win the Champions League in soccer, right?
Yeah.
If you win, you automatically qualify for next year's tournament.
Hmm.
You don't have to regardless of what happens in your league in the league. Let's say you finish eighth in your league, right? So if you finish eighth in a league, you're not qualifying for Champions League regularly. But let's say if you were in the tournament last year and you win, you get automatic bid in.
Yeah.
So I do think they need to up the stakes a little bit more. I think 500,000 I don't think is enough. Maybe it could be like $1 million or more. Or I think get them an automatic bid into the playoffs or whatever. Something like that. I do think the stakes need to be upped, but I do like the idea. I do like the idea. I do think that play. I don't know if every player is going to take it more seriously, but I do think it adds more urgency to those games.
Okay.
So
We'll see. Hopefully, if once this thing is at once this actually starts, hopefully we actually see good. If they actually play hard, then I will probably be for it. But if they're just playing regular, like it's just a regular season game, then yeah, it's just a waste of my time. But hopefully, we'll actually see good competition when it comes to this tournament. So obviously, I have no choice but to watch it. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, I don't care for it.
okay. All right, so let's read some comment before we get to the last topic. Ruben said that we should get a classic NBA Jam 2v2 tournament.
That would be interesting. I would like that. Absolutely, I would. And and I'm glad that you mentioned that room because I remember years ago, Damian Lillard had actually offered to do a one-on-one. Let's do a one-on-one around in the All Star break. Obviously, people didn't want to do that, and the reason why I think they said no is because I think a lot of these players are afraid to get exposed
I
when it
actually
comes
think
to the
that's
one.
I actually think that's true too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true too. Ruben
I
also
think
said, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's really all because of exposure, and they and I think it also would be so much easier to dissect what these guys' weaknesses are and what their strengths are, and it'll be too much. I think it'll be a lot of extra pressure that they don't want, and they just want to have fun, in the play in the All Star game. Like I don't think they want to play because you have to play serious if this is going to be like a one-on-one thing. Like there's going to be a lot of bragging rights and people going to be you definitely going to be you're definitely going to be in the newspaper and whatnot. Oh, this player did because imagine if LeBron loses to just for example, it wouldn't happen. But if he had lost against to let's say a I'm trying to think of somebody. If LeBron, no, I want to say would you think it would have been embarrassing for LeBron if he had lost against James Harden
Mm, no,
in a
no,
one on one?
no. I don't think so.
not Chris Paul, Paul George.
No.
Luca.
No. Are you just gonna name names?
Yeah, I was just gonna name names until you said yes. Well, okay. No, but for me, I think a lot of these players would have it would be too much pressure, for these players. Like because a lot of people would expect LeBron James to almost beat just about everybody, or Kevin Durant, or a Steph Curry or whatever. And if they lose against someone who everyone claims is not that good, that's not a good look for them. So that's not what they want. So obviously we will never get that. But a 2-on-2, I would definitely be on board for that one.
I mean, Nolan said LeBron loses to Hero. Yeah, I think he would be embarrassed by that. He would be embarrassed by that.
Well, what about Butler?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But all right. So Ruben said that it'll mean something when these sponsors put their money in it, and that's the thing. Like once if this thing goes in and works, which I think it will work, sponsors are going to be falling all over themselves to sponsor it, and that's going to just going to generate more money for them. And Nolan said that you got to build it to mean something. That's true. I figured you get an incentive in the regular season. Yeah, I guess so, but but early in the season, I just think that you're just adding more excitement, more importance to those games. 50K for the win, but you find hard in 100K.
Yeah, like to me, again, like it's just a gimmick. At the end of the day, for me, I think all this is just a gimmick. If you truly want fans to be more engaged in the earlier of the season, then try to incentivize the players to play hard. But at the end of the day, people are not going to complain, because if more people start taking the same approach that Jimmy Butler does, but not taking the regular season seriously, but he wants to get serious in the playoff, which yes, it does matter. But if more people are going to do that, take that approach, then yeah, the regular season doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just not as exciting, and eventually it is going to hurt you financially if people just stop watching, and that's not what the NBA wants. So I mean, I guess in a sense, what you said earlier, based on to create more excitement of the regular season, I get it, but I think that's more of a mental thing. Like it's just not the same back in the day where guys were playing hard from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't see it. I think it's mainly because of the money. They're getting so much money, and I also think because since the media talks about finals and championships every single time, like I think that really put I think that pretty much put all the players. Oh well, then if that's the case, then I'm just not going to play hard in the regular season. I'm just going to play hard in the playoffs. And once again, I don't think the NBA wants that either. So, I'm just going to give it a try. I still think it's a gimmick. I think it's meaningless at the end of the day. But hey, it's here. It's going to stay. So I'm just going to give it a shot.